Hello, everybody who is watching. Welcome to step one. I'm going to answer some questions of people who are coming to this program fresh and new. Usually I get questions that are very common to the new participants. So if you're coming here not quite sure what to expect and wanting to know more how the program works and what all goes into it, listen in. And I think usually this introductory session answers most of those questions. So who wants to start?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to start because I'm really excited to try this, but I'm a bit confused because is step one a standalone program or it's just the first step in the program? So will I see any results with step one, or if this is all I do?
Right, exactly. And this is one of very common questions that I get because step one, I do say, hey, you can just do that. You're going to lose weight, so it can be used as a step one can be used as a standalone program. And yet there is the entire program with multiple steps. So obviously, if step one was all there was to it, then we wouldn't need the rest of the steps. So where do you draw that line? And basically what you're going to be learning in step one is how this whole thing works. And once you know how your metabolism works, once you know what actually causes your weight gain, what actually to watch out for, then the hope is that you can take that knowledge and apply it and take it from there on your own, which is a theory in a sense, but to compare it with the common approach of calorie counting. So once you know in theory, you know that, hey, if you eat less and if you exercise more, then if you apply that and if you can stick with it, then you're going to lose weight. But what most of us find out is that it really doesn't work that way. And we're starving, we're hangry, our mood suffers, we try to exercise, we're exhausted, we're hurting all over, and we're not getting anywhere. So we get demotivated. So this program actually gives you the steps and the approaches that will get you there. Now, step one is where you're going to get a general concept of that. And as I say in my introductory videos that most of us have seen, it's your metabolism that stands behind your weight loss or weight gain. I'm sure everybody knows friends from high school, from work, who can eat looks like anything they want. They can eat cakes, they can drink soda and they don't gain an ounce, and you as much as look at a candy bar and you gain 5 pounds. So the answer is your metabolism. Once you understand what to watch out for and what actually causes weight gain, hopefully you can apply those principles and go forward from there. But in reality, just like with calorie counting, it works for some people who can stick with it, right? Most of us can't. So once you learn how metabolism works, kind of same principles come into place in a sense. In a lot of cases, people don't quite understand how it works from step one. In many other cases, since you're still inviting a change in your life, some people need more of a motivation to stick with it. They need more of explaining. They need more help than what first step gives you. So if you are one of those person who can take it on your own and go forward, that may very well be everything that you need. If you're one of those people who need a little bit more coaching, a little bit more explaining, who want somebody to walk them through and make sure they're doing things right, then there are other steps for it. So that's kind of in a nutshell. First step will give you the tools that you need to lose weight, you probably will see results. Most people do. A lot of people feel that they need a little bit more coaching after that, and that's what the subsequent steps are for. So I hope that answers your question, and we can go to the next one.
Yeah, uh, I have a question. But first, I wanted to say that I came to this program after watching an intro video where you basically explained that calorie counting and exercise approach doesn't work. First, I must say that your simple explanation really spoke to me. I can count how many times I tried different programs. I've done Weight Watchers, Medifast, the 500 calorie diet, and I didn't get very far, to be honest. So, yes, plain and simple, the approach didn't work for me. But then what this means that you can eat anything you want and as much as you want, sit on the couch all day and still lose weight. I feel, my trust level to be taken advantage of here a little bit. It sounds like unrealistic stretch of imagination to me. So can you explain?
Sure. And so, first of all, it's not that you can eat everything you want and sit on the couch all day and things are going to happen just by some kind of miracle. We all know Einstein's definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So, that is definitely not how the program works. When I say that, you can eat anything, or that exercise doesn't matter, that calories don't matter. It's because that is really not what determines your weight loss. It's kind of interesting because we're used to this concept of, well, once we eat and, that's how we gain weight is from food, which is a good correct observation, but it's not calories that actually make you gain weight, surprisingly enough, because one of the metabolic processes is that, the very well known process that we all know, and that's where calorie counting comes from, is that our body takes the nutrients that we eat, and what it doesn't use, it puts in fat cells as storage, and that's how we gain weight, which is true. There is that process, but there are other processes that come into play here. For example, if we ingest something that our body considers to be a toxin, something that it doesn't know how to deal with. For example, our ancestors been eating certain foods, meat, vegetables, sugars, for centuries. That's what our body knows how to process. Once we eat something new, something that was processed, altered, something that is a chemical ingredient because we can't pronounce it, it's a preservative, it's an additive, it's something foreign to our body, then there is also this mechanism, is that everything that our body doesn't know how to deal with, it also hides in fat cells. So it's not just energy that goes there, it's also those kind of toxins that go in there. So to prevent a toxin from harming our body, it gets encapsulated in a fat cell so that it's isolated from the rest of the metabolic processes. And if it can be eliminated, it's just going to sit there. And so when we ingest a lot of those toxins, then we need more fat cells to store them, and that's how we get more fat cells growing. And those are very hard to get rid of because, let's say, even when we start exercising, we are basically asking our body to dig into a toxic waste storage. It's something it already put in there because it doesn't want to deal with it. And so it's not going to open the fat cells and get those out. For energy, yes, but once it's a fat cell that's got a toxin in it, our body is going to be reluctant to do this. So when we count calories, and then this process is going alongside of it, then really limiting calories is not going to do much because our body is not going to open those fat cells anyway. Another aspect that you can look at is what does your body burn for energy in the first place? And we have keto now. Keto is not something that I teach. Keto is just one aspect of how metabolism works, but it's a good example because it's not relying on calories. It's relying on a metabolic process known as ketosis. So it's just a good example that calories is not always, it's not that simplistic. So what does your body burn for energy? Does it burn sugar? Does it burn the food that you ate? Does it burn the extra fat? What does it burn? And so you could limit your food intake as much as you want, but will that really get your body to burn the storage fat? A lot of times it's not. It just says, no, I'm lacking food, I'm hungry, and you're angry, and you're shaky, and you can't think, but I refuse to burn fat for energy, just because those are the metabolic processes that it's stuck in. So when I say you can eat what you want, it's may not be like, a very straightforward statement, because if you want to eat McDonald's specifically, it's probably not going to work for you. But because of all the additives and the toxins and the undissolvable fats that are used by, that particular chain, I hope McDonald's will pardon me for that, but unfortunately it's a fact. So, but if you say, hey, I like hamburgers, then you can find a clean version of hamburger that doesn't contain the saturated fat that your body can't split and therefore is going to put in those fat cells. The bread that doesn't have the additives and the preservatives that will give you the wheat belly. So you can eat a hamburger, just not a McDonald's hamburger. So that is the scope in which I say you can eat what you want. When it comes to exercise, kind of the same thing applies. Yes, we gotta move. Absolutely no question about it. We got to get our body functioning properly. Exercise is very important. But what a lot of people do is that they think that exercise is there strictly for burning calories. Which, yes, it does burn calories, but even that process is very, very overrated, I would say. Because if you think about it, if you go to the gym, if you guys go, and you get on a treadmill, go for about 10 minutes and see how many calories you're going to burn in 10 minutes of pretty strenuous exercise on that treadmill. And you think, well, gee, I really burnt, really something. I feel like I worked out here. And so in those 10 minutes on treadmill, you're going to burn about 120 calories. 120 calories is a tablespoon of salad dressing. So if you leave the gym and now you're hungry because you exercise and you're still going to be good and you're going to eat salad, you're just going to put a little bit more of salad dressing on it because after all, it's salad, right? And salad dressing, just a little bit. Now you've just put those 120 calories back very efficiently. So when we try to measure our weight loss by exercise, that's what busts our efforts most of the time. But exercise is important to get your lymph system moving, to get your body to eliminate the toxins. That's actually how you get to those fat cells that store those toxins that we're trying to get rid of, is by creating this movement of fluids in our body and stimulating the processes that eliminate them. And that's what exercise does. But that kind of exercise does not have to be strenuous. It does not have to have your muscles hurting. It doesn't really matter how many calories you burn in that process, as long as you launch it. And so what I tell a lot of people is don't feel like you have to join the gym and start lifting 50 pounds, bench press in order to lose weight. You can start where you are, and you can start with a walk, a 5-minute walk. In fact, we start with a 1-minute walk. So if you're the kind of person who is overweight and out of shape and it scares you that you need to exercise, then don't worry about it, because this is not what I'm asking you to do. All I'm asking you to do is what you can, and let's start with 1-minute walk. If you can do more, then do more. But it's also going to feel right to your body because you're pushing it just a little bit. You're getting the fluids going. Once your stamina, your strength builds up to where it needs to be, then you will want to do more. And then it will feel good for you. And then you will enjoy it. So it's not that I don't suggest exercise. I do. What I speak against is the strenuous exercise that we all hate, and we hate it for a reason because it's way too much. It's not what our body needs. In fact, I will explain in the program later how it actually is counterproductive to our efforts. Our body goes into defense mode, and we're creating more problem with it than we're solving. But the exercise that goes along with your body needs is going to feel right. You're going to feel better, and you're going to be wanting to do it. So without trying to squeeze 45 weeks into 5 minutes of explanation, this is pretty much how it works. And the bottom line is that we need to know what causes weight gain. And a lot of times we don't, because there hasn't been a lot of research on that. If you look at the history of weight loss, you will see they came up with a food pyramid I'd say about 60 years ago. And in fact, it came around for other reasons than weight loss, because it wasn't that much of a problem back then. And after that, there really hasn't been any medical studies to look at the processes of weight gain specifically. It only in the last, I'd say, 10, 20 years that we started to look at weight loss as a health problem. Those of you who are older who are watching this video, who are more of my age, if you think back about 20 years, it was more of a cosmetic thing. It's like, well, if you're overweight, it's kind of like almost vanity, and only recently they're starting tying it to heart attacks, to other health problems. But it's a new development. And many of us remember the days when we didn't, there was no correlation. So the studies that look into what causes weight gain are pretty new. But you will all agree with me that how can you combat something if you don't know what causes it in the first place? So by learning, and that kind of takes us back to question 1, also by learning what causes weight gain gives you very important tools to move forward. And also I've added other, tools to help you monitor it, to help you keep things in check, to stay motivated because you're monitoring the right thing and you actually are seeing progress. That's what it boils down to. So to go back to your question, no, I'm not going to tell you to sit on the couch and eat anything you want. I will encourage you to make changes. And this is why you need the program. And this is why I was talking earlier that, it's hard to make changes. You do need sometimes, you do need to put effort into breaking the old habits. So that means you will have to break the old habits. Right. The question is how and what are you aiming at? Make sure your targets are right that you're trying to hit. Okay, I've been talking for a while. Let's take one more question.
Yeah, I do have one. I remember that Laura actually mentioned Medifast earlier, and you have mentioned supplements as well. And to be honest, I'm that type of person, like I'm not into diet and exercise either, but there's got to be a supplement that you can take to help lose weight, right? Like, even to reset the same metabolism, like you were explaining. Do you feel that supplements don't work either?
Well, supplements do work, but like even that same Medifast, it is a supplement. They're still aimed at wrong targets. Let's put it this way. So when it comes to supplements that, as you said, reset your metabolism and make some kind of systemic changes that change how your body processes calories and what it does in terms of, fat burn or fat buildup, there are really no supplements there that I'm aware of. Maybe there are some that I don't know about. But as far as I know, the supplements that do that only exist in this program. So the market's kind of limited to us when it comes to those types of supplements. The supplements that are on the market that I am aware of that are most popular have different targets for themselves. A lot of them are stimulants. The idea is that if you give your body energy, if you stimulate your body, you're going to move more. You're going to, by having this energy, you're going to burn fat, which is true. But it only works for some people, usually younger people. When we get older, when we get in our 40s, 50s, we have been spending a lot of energy in our life on work, on kids, on running around. We've been asking a lot from our bodies, emotionally, physically. So the organs that produce energy, like our adrenals, they are pretty tired at that point. And so when you take a stimulant to whip those organs into producing more energy, it's like whipping a tired horse. It would like to go faster, but it can't. And so we may get that initial oomph, for the first couple weeks, because we are getting energy, we are getting stimulated, and then it comes to a crash. And then we either have horrible side effects or it just all quits and we started gaining weight. Another type of stimulant, or it's not stimulant, but supplement rather, and that's, you guys were mentioning Medifast. It's kind of a meal replacement. So it suppresses your appetite by putting substance in your intestine, so you're not as hungry. And so you supposedly don't eat as much by that. And so if you eat less, so you take in less calories and you're going to lose weight. As we've already discussed, eating less is really not where it's at, because you eat less, again, you're going to have the side effects by missing nutrients. You're going to be tired, you're going to be crabby, your performance at work is going to tank, you're not going to like yourself very much. So that's why most people quit. And besides, as I've explained about this other parallel process that goes on as far as our body storing toxins, when we eat less, we don't get enough energy. When we don't get enough energy, then our body can't detox because it needs energy to detox. And so when we're not putting enough, then those other processes that are very important cannot happen. So, and if you think about it, both concepts are kind of contrary to each other. One stimulates you because you need energy to lose weight, which is true. And the other one says, no, let's cut down the nutrients. Well, where are you going to get your energy if we do that? So, and, third, a very popular, Medifast, it actually, fills you with something to create that feeling. There are some appetite suppressants that also supposedly work for losing weight that do the same thing without being a meal replacement. But same concept, they're trying to cut down on how much you eat, which is not a solution, as I have already explained. So supplements do work initially. Sometimes you do need a stimulant supplement in some cases. In most cases, you need supplements that do other things. For example, even get your lymphatic system moving. You need supplements that help your body to switch from burning what you eat for energy to actually digging in the reserves. So that's where I use supplements of that nature. But even with that, it's kind of a common question and a common approach that I get asked in many aspects of what I do is, isn't there a supplement that I can take that would do that? And we all know there is no silver bullet, but we all still are trying to find it. And there isn't one. And the reason there isn't is because your lifestyle matters. Your lifestyle matters. That's what goes into our daily function. That's what goes into our health. That's what our life is. And what we look like is a reflection of that. Like Laura mentioned earlier, well, can't I just sit on the couch and eat bonbons and lose weight? You can't, because we all know that that's not how it's going to work, because your lifestyle matters. Another example that I give is like if somebody says, imagine you have some kind of a knife and you constantly go stabbing on your hand with that knife. And then you come to a doctor and you say, hey, doctor, can you give me some kind of cream? I got a sore on my hand. They probably can, and it probably is going to be semi-effective. But if you don't stop doing this to yourself, that wound will never heal. So same thing, whatever we do in our lifestyle, if we keep disrupting our natural processes, if we keep doing things that are counterproductive to what our body is trying to do in terms of getting to its ideal shape, our results are going to be marginal. So that's kind of a little bit long-winded, but still a short answer to how supplements work or don't work. There is definitely a place for them. There is definitely a place even for fat burners that are out there, but you got to be the right person for the supplement without taking your lifestyle into consideration, still without knowing what causes your weight gain in the first place. Even finding the right supplement is really a challenge. So that's why you guys are in the program, is because we're going to go over all these things in detail. Right now, it's kind of like, a very general, I'm hitting on very many points that we will dig deeper. But the main takeaway that I want you to walk away with is that understanding what causes weight gain is your main tool in fighting weight gain. Once you know what actually is happening, then you can effectively find ways to prevent it from happening. So don't just jump on tips and tricks and rush through this whole thing. It's like, oh, will this work? Will this work? Will this work? I strongly encourage you to understand what works and why, because we're all different, and because our lifestyles are different, because our bodies are different, some are going to need more of one trick and less of the other. And self-organization obviously is also very important, but I want to encourage you to monitor what's going on, because what gets measured gets managed. So don't just go on very, it's like, oh, it's happening today, it's not happening tomorrow. Do develop your own system, whether you stay with the program or whether you decide to go on your own. System is very important. Again, see for yourself what is happening on your body, what is helpful to you, and what is not helpful. So if one more thing that I would want to encourage you is the journal. And it's not for any other reason, but for you to see what will work for you. Okay, and so I am out of time with this effectively. So thank you very much for your questions, for your participation. I'm going to stop recording at this. And as we go along, more things will become clear, I promise.